I would encourage any of you listening to this session this evening, would you please write in a respectful way to Dr. Brown and say, this is frightfully confusing what you wrote here. The word echad, he admits it works like the English word one. And then he plays, I don't know how strong I should be with the language here, a slippery argument to confuse you. He confesses rightly, echad, that's the Hebrew word for one. It's a counting word, as in 1, 2, 3, a mathematical word. I said that. It is. Look it up in any lexicon. It simply means one. That's absolutely right. As in 1, 2, 3, and more. Exactly like our English word one. Now he says, while it can refer to compound unity, very slippery. What do you mean by that? Look, the word one can refer to, modify, as we say grammatically, or describe any noun in the universe. Tell me one it couldn't. One universe, one star, one atom, one bird, one fly, one mosquito. So I don't know what he's saying there, except to state the obvious, that the word one, you can count one for any item you want to give me. Give me an item and I'll say one, and it's quite clear to you. What is so crooked, I'm using a strong word there about that argument coming that Carlos just had up, is that word, or one, the word echad, can imply a plurality in the noun that follows. The word one is a counting word, is standing on its own. You can have one team. That doesn't mean the word one has changed its meaning one iota. Dr. Brown here, as a linguist, amazes me because he's breaking the very fundamental laws of language. Rather like as in California recently, they said, we're not going to talk about him or her as students, we're going to talk about them. Change the pronouns. You don't want to mess with language like that. That is to interfere with the precious gift of communication, grammar, and logic that God has given us. So the word one can modify any noun in the universe. If you say it modifies the word team, or tripod, or quartet, one quartet, it hasn't altered the meaning of the word one. I hope this is clear to all of you so that you can explain it. The plurality idea comes from the noun, quartet. There's a fourness about that. Trio, there's a threeness about that. One flesh, there's a two-ness about male and female joined together. But the word one, thankfully, has not altered its meaning in any possible direction. So to talk about absolute one and complex one is to invent definitions for one which don't exist. Go to your Hebrew lexicons, go to your Merriam-Webster's dictionary. You'll find the word one. There's no such thing as complex one. There's no such thing as absolute one. One is simply just one. Nothing else. One, not two, not three, or four, or more. That's a language fact that anybody with a modicum of language training knows to be true. So would you please inquire of Dr. Brown, where in the world is he finding a definition of echad, or is, which is the equivalent in modern Greek? Where does he find them described as compound one? They're not. It's the noun that follows that gives the idea of compound, like team. How about one zebra? I don't know if I'm saying that right in America. Zebra or zebra, one zebra. Get this point clear. Does that mean that one means black and white there? Of course not. You're being played a very tricky argument here, and I hope you're smart enough to see through it, because we're dealing with the greatest word in the universe. The one thing you mustn't get wrong is your definition of God. He is one single Lord. Back to John 17:3. You, Father, from the very words of Jesus, are or monos alithos theos, the only one who is genuinely God. You know what that means? Nobody else is. Your child of two gets it. Talk to your child. Say, you're the only one who is my child. You're my only son. You're the only son of mine in the room right now. He understands that. We don't argue about these things. We don't argue about them when we're two. But the church has turned this into a terrifying argument, quite unnecessarily. It's daunting to the people outside, and the Muslims and Jews are aghast at the nonsense we talk about it. Let me simply state that one means one. It defines a single individual person. God is so called by singular personal pronouns thousands of times, thousands upon thousands thousands of times. There are 14 personal pronouns. All of this will give you extra ammunition talking to your friends. I, me, mine, my, he, him, his, himself. Particularly the ones with self on the end are good because they describe oneself. God is a single self, as Dale Tuggy said so nicely, a single undivided self. He's one Father. So the obvious inference from that evidence in the Bible is overwhelmingly in favor of a unitary monotheistic creed. Yahid means only one, unique. But so does Echad in John 17:3. You, Father, are the unique, only one. They're synonyms in English. If you're unique, there's only one of you. Whether you say Echad or Yahid, that's just a game of words. It's just nonsense. Yahid means only one. Echad means only one, not two or more. This is simplicity itself. And one day the world will fall on its knees and beg God for mercy. My goodness, what a chaos we've made out of the beauty of the one and only true God. So Yahid doesn't help you, doesn't advance you 1 ounce. Not necessary. It's the same exactly. It means only one, but so does Echad.